Have you ever walked away from a conversation thinking I should have handled that better? In a world where people talk over each other, manipulate, or rush to dominate, the quiet mind often gets overlooked. But what if wisdom, not noise, was the real path to influence? The Stoics believed true power lies in self-mastery, perception, and timing. This isn't about playing games. It's about seeing clearly, moving deliberately, and speaking with purpose. In the next few moments, you'll discover how to navigate life with quiet precision. Stay with me. What you learn here might change how you move through the world. Number 1. Fine-tune your timing. In the art of outsmarting others, timing is not a tool, it is a weapon. It is the invisible edge that separates the impulsive from the strategic, the reactive from the masterful. And if you study history, philosophy, or warfare, you'll see one truth repeated again and again: he who controls the timing controls the outcome. To the Stoics, timing was not merely about the clock, it was about rhythm. The rhythm of nature, of conversation, of conflict, of opportunity. Marcus Aurelius didn't react to every crisis at once. He observed. He waited. He responded with clarity, not emotion. In the same way, when you master timing, you stop living on everyone else's schedule and start navigating life on your own terms. There's a difference between rushing to speak and choosing the exact moment your words carry the most weight. There's a difference between jumping at a chance and allowing a moment to ripen until it serves your deeper aim. Timing isn't about hesitation, it's about restraint. And restraint in a world addicted to urgency is power. Think of it this way: when someone insults you, most people snap back. But the Stoic pauses. They let silence make the aggressor uncomfortable. They let the moment breathe. Because in that space, clarity arises. Power shifts. In the same way, the seasoned negotiator doesn't rush to fill the silence at the table. They let others squirm. They let their calm become their leverage. Whether you're deciding when to speak, when to walk away, or when to act, never underestimate the value of timing. The wrong action at the right moment can ruin you, but the right move made at the right time can change everything. So observe more, react less. Wait not in fear, but in awareness. Because when you act in harmony with time, rather than in defiance of it, your influence multiplies. The one who rushes is often the one who loses, but the one who moves with deliberate timing becomes unshakable, strategic, and ultimately untouchable. Number 2. Ask open-ended questions. If timing gives you control over when to move, open-ended questions give you control over how others reveal themselves. The wisest minds in Stoic thought understood one essential truth: to influence others, you must first understand them. And there's no faster way to see through a person's mask than to hand them the space to speak freely, fully, and without constraint. Open-ended questions are not just communication tools. They are strategic instruments of discovery. They invite the other person to speak in paragraphs rather than in headlines. Instead of leading them toward a confined answer, you free them to expose their intentions, insecurities, blind spots, and sometimes even their manipulation without them realizing it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake in any thought or action, I shall gladly change, for I seek the truth." But to seek truth in others, you must first give them room to reveal it. Asking questions like, "What made you think that?" or "How did you come to that conclusion?" creates not just insight, it builds rapport, sharpens your understanding, and often disarms those who came expecting confrontation. Because while closed questions limit response, open-ended ones unlock the map to the other person's mind. Whether you're negotiating a deal, reading someone's motive, or simply trying to lead without resistance, open-ended questions allow you to sit in the position of power quietly. You're no longer the one trying to convince. You're the one guiding. Let others speak. Let them feel safe enough to speak freely. And in that freedom, they often tell you everything you need to know. Their fears, their goals, their weaknesses, their pressure points. All revealed not by force, but by calm, curious presence. The Stoic doesn't seek to overpower people, they seek to understand them, knowing that true power begins with perception. So master the art of asking not to impress, but to illuminate. And remember, when you ask the right question, you rarely need to say much more. The truth reveals itself. You just have to be silent enough to hear it. Number 3, observe more, react less. In a world that rewards speed, noise, and instant reaction, those who pause to observe before they respond gain a quiet advantage. The Stoics understood this well. Power isn't found in being the loudest in the room. It's found in mastering your inner world long before the outer one provokes you. Observation, when practiced with intention, becomes a form of quiet dominance. While others rush to speak, to argue, to insert their opinion, you remain still, listening, not just to what's being said, but to what's being concealed. To observe more and react less is not weakness. It's strategy. It's restraint. It's choosing clarity over chaos. When you slow down and allow yourself to notice the subtleties, the tone behind the words, the tension in the room, the timing of someone's silence, you begin to see people's motives before they declare them. You notice who's posturing, who's insecure, who's trying to manipulate, and who's genuinely present. This makes you impossible to deceive and difficult to manipulate, because while others play checkers with their emotions, you're playing chess with your awareness. The Stoic doesn't jump to conclusions. They gather data. In a heated conversation, instead of defending themselves immediately, they let the fire burn out. They watch. They measure. And when they finally speak, their words cut deeper because they're deliberate. This applies in every setting: a negotiation, a family disagreement, even a casual encounter. When you choose observation over impulsive reaction, you gain an edge most people never realize exists. So, the next time you're pulled into a moment that demands a quick reaction, resist the pull. Take a breath. Watch everything. Say less. Because those who see clearly move wisely, and those who move wisely win silently. Remember, reacting is instinct, observing is discipline, and in the art of outsmarting everyone, discipline always wins. Number 4, think before you speak. In the rush to be heard, many people forget the power of restraint. But those who walk the path of Stoic wisdom understand it is not the abundance of words that commands respect. It is the quality of what is said and the intention behind it. To think before you speak is to weaponize your words with clarity, precision, and weight. It is the difference between reacting out of impulse and responding with purpose. And in that pause, brief but powerful, you gain more than time. You gain control. Every conversation is a battlefield of influence, and every word is either a blade or a bridge. When you rush to respond, when you speak just to fill silence, you often surrender the very power you were trying to assert. But when you pause, gather your thoughts, and speak with calm conviction, people lean in. They listen. Because your silence built anticipation and your words carried intention. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that the wise man speaks because he has something to say, not because he has to say something. Let that be your compass. Especially in moments of tension, negotiations, arguments, decisions that carry weight. The temptation to react quickly is strong. But speed is rarely your ally. Precision is. When you master the art of pausing, reflecting, and responding with composure, you position yourself as someone who cannot be rushed, provoked, or manipulated. And that alone commands respect. To think before you speak is to choose clarity over chaos, purpose over noise. It's not about being slow, it's about being deliberate. Every great strategist, philosopher, and leader knew how to weaponize silence, how to make a single sentence land with the force of a speech. Practice that. Let your words become fewer but stronger, and you'll find that the less you say, the more people remember. In the end, it's not just about sounding wise. It's about being so grounded, so thoughtful, that your words naturally carry authority. Speak less, mean more. That's the Stoic way. Number 5. Use positive reinforcement. True influence doesn't always come from force or intellect. It often begins with how you make others feel in your presence. The Stoics understood that power rooted in fear is fleeting, but power rooted in trust and respect endures. That's where positive reinforcement becomes a quiet yet transformative tool. When you genuinely recognize someone's effort, when you sincerely acknowledge their value, you're not just making them feel good, you're opening a door to collaboration, loyalty, and deeper influence. It's easy to point out flaws. It takes no discipline to criticize, but it requires intention to look at someone, see their potential, and say, "You did that well." The world is full of voices that tear down, but the one who knows how to build people up, not with flattery, but with precise and honest encouragement, becomes a rare force in any room. Because people remember how you made them feel, especially in a world that so often makes them feel small. Positive reinforcement isn't manipulation. It's a way of aligning your influence with truth. When you commend someone sincerely, you reinforce their strengths and invite them to rise higher. You become a mirror reflecting back the best in them. And in return, they open themselves to your presence, your insights, your leadership. Whether you're managing a team, mentoring a friend, or navigating a complex relationship, your ability to reinforce what's working gives you subtle authority. You're no longer just directing behavior, you're cultivating it. Seneca once wrote, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." Stoicism doesn't ask us to be cold, it asks us to be intentional. And intentional praise is one of the most stoic tools you can use. It's quiet, it's calm, and it changes people without pressure. So use your words like a sculptor uses his hands. Shape confidence, reinforce value, and in doing so, you'll earn something far greater than compliance. You'll earn trust. And with trust, you can outsmart anyone without ever needing to outmaneuver them. Number 6. Stay humble. The moment you believe you've mastered everything is the moment you stop growing. True wisdom, as the Stoics taught, begins not with knowing, but with admitting how much you still don't. Confidence without humility is arrogance. And arrogance is not power. It's fragility dressed up in pride. To truly outsmart others, not through deception, but through character, you must walk the razor's edge between self-assurance and self-awareness. Know your worth, but never forget that you're still a student in a universe far wiser than you. Humility is not weakness. It's strength with its ego stripped away. It's walking into a room without needing to dominate it. It's listening before speaking, observing before asserting. And when you do speak, your words carry more weight because they come from stillness, not from self-importance. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men in history, reminded himself daily, "You are a soul carrying a corpse." A sobering reminder that no title, no achievement, no knowledge exempts us from the need to remain grounded. People gravitate toward those who are confident, but they stay loyal to those who are humble, because humility disarms the defensive. It creates space for connection, not competition. When you can say, "I don't know," or "I could have done better," you invite others to meet you, not as a superior, but as a fellow traveler. That honesty builds trust. That relatability creates influence. It's not about pretending to be small, it's about refusing to be inflated. To stay humble is to remember that every strength you have was once a weakness. Every skill you've mastered was once foreign. And every success is a temporary resting point, not a final destination. The Stoic doesn't boast, they simply become. Quietly, consistently, unshakably. So let your confidence speak through your actions. Let your humility shine through your presence. Because the most dangerous minds are not the loudest. They're the ones who move with quiet conviction, knowing they have nothing to prove. Number 7. Adaptability is imperative. The Stoics didn't resist change, they trained for it. They understood that life is fluid, unpredictable, and indifferent to our preferences. To survive is one thing, but to thrive, to outsmart others, to lead to influence, you must learn to bend without breaking. Adaptability isn't a passive trait. It's an active discipline. It's the strength to stay rooted in your values while reshaping your strategy when the ground beneath you shifts. Seneca wrote, "Fate leads the willing and drags the unwilling." In every situation, whether in business relationships or moments of personal challenge, you have a choice: resist reality or respond to it with clarity. Those who cling to the old ways, the old roles, the old mindsets, quickly find themselves outpaced. But those who stay light on their feet, who embrace change as an opportunity rather than a threat, they're the ones who quietly take control while others cling to comfort. Adaptability makes you powerful, not because it allows you to dominate, but because it allows you to remain relevant. While others grow rigid and brittle with ego, the adaptable person remains calm, fluid, and responsive. They see what others miss. They pivot when others panic. And in doing so, they lead not with force, but with foresight. Whether you're navigating a volatile deal, diffusing family conflict, or simply rethinking your own identity, adaptability lets you read the room, shift the tone, and guide others without resistance. It doesn't mean abandoning your values. It means living them more effectively in a changing world. The Stoic doesn't fear change, they prepare for it. They remain grounded, not by refusing to move, but by knowing how to move with intention. So let your strength be quiet flexibility. Let your edge be your calm ability to adjust, redirect, and evolve. Because in a world where most people resist change out of fear, the one who adapts with grace becomes unshakable and often untouchable. Number 8. Leverage the win-win approach. The truly strategic mind doesn't seek to crush the opponent, it seeks to dissolve the conflict. In the Stoic way of thinking, strength isn't proven through domination, but through harmony built with intention. Outsmarting others doesn't mean taking more. It means creating an outcome so mutually beneficial that others want to follow your lead. That is the essence of the win-win approach, not weakness, not compromise for its own sake, but a deeper form of influence rooted in shared success. The reactive mind sees every interaction as a battlefield where someone must win and someone must lose. But the disciplined mind sees a different game unfolding. One where cooperation isn't just moral, it's tactical. Because when people feel understood, respected, and involved in the outcome, they become allies rather than obstacles. In business, in relationships, even in high-stakes disagreements, your power multiplies when you learn to find common ground without surrendering your principles. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What injures the hive injures the bee, and what serves the whole strengthens the individual." When you approach situations with the goal of shared elevation, not exploitation, you build a reputation as a calm, capable, and trustworthy strategist. People begin to associate your presence with clarity, with resolution, with outcomes that feel good on both sides. That kind of presence is rare and deeply magnetic. The win-win approach requires clarity, patience, and emotional control. It means setting aside ego long enough to ask, what do they truly want? What do I truly need? And how can we both walk away stronger? This isn't about playing nice, it's about playing smart. It's about leaving every table better than you found it, and being remembered as the one who brings solutions, not noise. So the next time you find yourself in conflict or negotiation, shift your lens. Stop trying to overpower. Start trying to align. Because the one who builds bridges, not walls, becomes indispensable and in the long game, unbeatable. Number 9. Practice patience. In a culture obsessed with speed, patience becomes a form of quiet rebellion and quiet mastery. The Stoics knew that most mistakes aren't made from lack of knowledge, but from lack of stillness. We rush, we react, we leap at the first opportunity or flare up at the first provocation. But true power lies in the pause. The ability to wait not passively but attentively is a rare discipline. And those who practice it, they become untouchable. Patience is not about inaction, it's about deliberate timing. It's the art of letting the dust settle before you move. Because when you're in a hurry, you see only the surface. But when you slow down, everything becomes clearer. People's true intentions, the hidden dynamics, the right moment to strike, or the wisdom to walk away. Marcus Aurelius said, "No great thing is created suddenly." The same applies to advantage, clarity, and influence. These things come to those who do not rush. When you are patient, you train yourself to remain unshaken while others scramble. In negotiations, patience makes others reveal more than they intended. In arguments, it allows emotions to deflate before words cause damage. In strategy, it prevents premature moves that can't be taken back. And in life, patience protects your peace from the chaos of the world's urgency. To be patient is to trust yourself so deeply that you no longer feel pressured to chase, to prove, or to control. You let life unfold, but you remain ready. You move when it's time, and that timing, because it's grounded in wisdom rather than impulse, carries immense force. Practicing patience doesn't make you slow, it makes you strategic. It shows others that your mind is not easily swayed and your energy is not easily wasted. In a world full of people desperate to act fast, be the one who waits and watches. Because while they're rushing toward mistakes, you're positioning yourself for victory. Calmly, quietly, effectively. Number 10. Set clear boundaries. In the Stoic view, dignity is not something others give you. It's something you protect by what you allow and what you refuse. Setting clear boundaries is not about pushing people away. It's about drawing a quiet line that says, this is where I end, and this is where respect begins. When you define your limits with calm conviction, you train others to meet you with the same level of clarity. Whether it's your time, your energy, or your values, boundaries serve as the guardians of peace. In work, they prevent burnout. In relationships, they prevent resentment. And in every aspect of life, they prevent the erosion of your identity. When others know what you stand for and where you won't bend, mutual respect naturally follows. The Stoics taught that control begins with the self. And boundaries are an act of self-command. Set them without apology. Communicate them without anger. Enforce them without drama. Because when you respect your own lines, the world begins to follow. That's not confrontation, it's clarity. And in a world of blurred lines, clarity is power. Number 11. Stay one step ahead. To outsmart others, you don't need to be the loudest voice or the most aggressive presence. You just need to see what's coming before it arrives. The Stoics valued foresight not as fortune-telling, but as a disciplined awareness of patterns, behaviors, and possibilities. To stay one step ahead is to anticipate problems before they erupt, to prepare for resistance before it speaks, and to position yourself where others haven't yet looked. This isn't paranoia, it's wisdom in motion. When you walk into a meeting already knowing the objections, when you enter a conversation already prepared for the pivot, you become unshakable. People begin to trust your judgment, not because you have all the answers, but because you've clearly thought things through. In chaos, you remain composed. In uncertainty, you move with calm clarity. Foresight builds credibility. And in a world that rewards reaction, those who lead with anticipation quietly take control. So train your mind to look forward. Stay alert. Prepare in silence. And when the moment comes, you won't need to scramble, you'll simply execute. That's not luck. That's Stoic strategy. Number 12. Educate yourself continuously. The Stoic path demands more than resilience. It demands refinement. And that begins with knowledge. To outsmart anyone, you must first outgrow your past limitations. Continuous learning isn't a luxury. It's a weapon. It sharpens your thinking, broadens your perception, and deepens your understanding of the world and those who move through it. Epictetus reminded us, only the educated are free. Because ignorance traps you in reaction, while knowledge liberates you into strategy. When you read, study, and absorb ideas from many disciplines, philosophy, psychology, negotiation, human nature, you begin to see patterns others miss. You speak with more clarity. You act with more intention. You become the person others turn to when things get complicated, not because you know everything, but because you never stopped learning. In every conversation, your quiet depth sets you apart. In every challenge, your insight becomes your advantage. So read deliberately, question constantly, study not to impress but to elevate. Because in a world full of noise, the educated mind becomes a lighthouse, silent, steady, and impossible to ignore. That's how you don't just win arguments, you change the game. These aren't just strategies, they're habits of mind that sharpen your awareness, deepen your presence, and give you an edge without losing your integrity. When practiced with intention, they help you move through the world with calm influence and quiet strength. This isn't about control, it's about clarity. If something in this video resonated, comment below, Power Through Wisdom. And if you'd like more tools like these to navigate life with discipline and insight, feel free to subscribe and stay connected. You never know which idea will shift everything. The next video might be exactly what you didn't know you needed. Until then, move wisely, speak deliberately, and keep growing.